Definitely never a bad movie experience when you go on a date night with the wife. Bad movies, yeah, but never a bad experience. I'll let you know right out the gate. I want to like things. I like the idea of going to a movie, sitting down, watching it, and liking it. Even if I like it ironically, even if I just enjoy making fun of it or whatever. I just like the idea of enjoying a couple hours just watching stuff. I so I'm not going to trash this movie. So in this possibly in the near future movie, that's a horrifying prospect. Criminals are put on trial through an AI judge, jury, and executioner. During the trial, you have an hour and a half to prove your innocence. The defendants are presumed guilty until proven innocent. So it's a dark little inverse of the presumption of innocence that we supposedly have in this country. Some people feel that more than others, but that's a conversation for another day, and I'm not the one to have that conversation. Right off the bat, you get conflicting information. Like the court is pitched as this thing that never makes mistakes, right? But then as the trial starts, you find out that number one, they need an 80% threshold for them to hold a trial. Then you find out it's not possible for a defendant to statistically rise above 97% in terms of their guilt. So a person can never be presumed 100% guilty statistically. It's just not allowed. And you have to fall below 92% for there to be enough doubt for them to let you go. So the pitch that we do this because it can't make mistakes, well, it already points out that there's a 20% reasonable doubt at the low end, and they are never 100% sure. They're not able to say that. So already I feel like that's, I'm not a math guy, so maybe, if you're a statistics expert, you can explain why that even with those like mathematical facts, that still doesn't like that doesn't mean that it's able to make mistakes. So Chris Pratt plays the guy who is on trial. He plays the character named Chris Raven to be exact, and Rebecca Ferguson plays the AI. And this is like one of those like one location movies, kind of like Searching, where you're just on a laptop or on a screen for the entire movie. So I like seeing Chris Pratt play a character that I'm not used to seeing him play. Rebecca Ferguson, she's so pretty. So I liked how she portrayed the AI. She, her facial expressions very rigid. They would switch on a dime, and they were kind of almost like she was tweaking out. And overall, the message about that human element, the importance of that human element. There's a good line in here because the AI basically explains this is not a place for thinking or feeling or whatever. It's just about the facts. The facts will prove the case. And Chris Pratt responds, facts are not where an investigation ends, it's where it starts. And just throughout the course of the movie, kind of proving that you do need that human element. I think this movie does have at least the beginnings of an important conversation about, what is justice worth, and how much are you willing to sacrifice in the pursuit of justice. Is it worth the innocent being sacrificed if you could be pretty much 100% guaranteed that you're catching all the guilty people? When the movie was over, interestingly enough, my wife, she leaned over and she said, "How many times do you think that happens?" I said, "What do you mean?" So how many times do you think that someone innocent just goes to prison or gets executed for something they didn't do? And I think I saw like a statistic, and this could be wrong, but I quoted it to her, so I'm gonna maintain it here because I think this is the statistic that I read. I think it's like 50% of black men who get convicted in this country eventually get exonerated. Maybe that's a BS statistic, but if it's not, 50%? In a world where you have an AI who makes these decisions just based on what it looks like on paper, and it's taken as gospel because it can't be wrong, and you read a statistic that says 50% of the time we're wrong, it's a scary thing. And I like the dichotomy of the AI who is all about facts and really has no feeling or sense of right and wrong from a human standpoint, just what is statistically right or wrong, what's the law and what is against the law. We have the dichotomy of that AI and a human character in the movie who kind of operates that way. This AI who may have the capacity to be human, and this human who may have the capacity to be a robot. And it puts Chris right in the middle. Like, this is a scary world where in the future you take that human part out, and it's just like, what does it look like on paper? That's what it is. And the AI, for several times in the movie, is like, it doesn't matter, you know, what they say about you. Your past has nothing to do with the present. And I'm just sitting there in the theater like, yeah, of course it does. We have character witnesses for that very reason. I'm old enough to have certain experiences in life. I've had to be a character witness for a trial. I'm not going to go into details about that. But after it was over, I was told that the character witness that I or character statement that I wrote up did have a noticeable impact on the trial. Other than that, it's pretty by the numbers. It is predictable. I'm just like, I like to have fun with these kinds of movies. So if that kind of thing bothers you, and I understand why it would, because if it's too predictable, then you might just lose interest in it. Then, you know, you can count that as a knock against the movie. So I'll say, if you don't got anything to do and you got a little bit of money to burn, or you're an A-list member so you can see the movies for free, it's like a 90-minute movie. Take your girlfriend out, your boyfriend out, your husband, your wife, your partner of whatever orientation and gender identity. I've seen way worse January movies. A lot of times you get these early movies that try to take up the slot because they know that they can't compete with the blockbusters coming out later, so they settle right in around January, February, where not a whole lot is popping off. And in terms of contextualizing it like that, it's fine. So I'll give it a watch recommendation, and mileage may vary from there. There were some serious social implications in this movie. Chris suspects that his wife is keeping things from him at a certain point, and you find out she has a burner phone, and she's texting a black dude. So I couldn't help but look at that and be like, okay, so the unsatisfied white woman is going to find the black dude to go behind his husband's back with. I've seen that video before.